Welcome to Inside the Franchise Growth Engine, presented by Hex Growth, a firm focused on building predictable pipelines, scalable growth systems, and enterprise value for emerging franchise brands. These are real stories from real brands, but we go deeper. Inside the Franchise Growth Engine, leaders unpack the systems, capital decisions, and operational discipline that turns growth into enterprise value. On today's podcast, and we're excited, is Kevin Blosser, the owner of Nugget Ice, an automated retail concept that is rethinking a multi-billion-dollar industry most people have never even questioned. What makes this story fascinating is that this isn't just a vending machine business. It is a network play. Instead of trucking ice across the country, Nugget Ice produces it on-site, on demand, through automated kiosks. They're not just selling ice, they're building a distributed infrastructure network around what customers call the good ice. Kevin, welcome, man. We're excited. We were just talking earlier today about there is a difference in ice, and the people that understand that really covet that and will look for it. So welcome, man. We're really happy for you to join us today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So why don't you give us a brief overview of your background and what led you to build Nugget Ice?
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So in 2004, I graduated college and went back to work with the family business, and we worked in commercial retail, commercial development, and really understood the value from a retailer standpoint as they look at all of their square footage and sales per square foot, and really break product down to that level, very granular. In 2012, I looked at buying an ice vending machine, and it was really expensive. It was really big, and I asked my father what he knew about it, and he said that they were really big, really expensive. And growing up around him, it was like he was a serial entrepreneur and like a MacGyver. And he said, "Son, I can build you one for about half the cost." So I went home that night and I thought about it, and it hit me. And I came back to him the next day. I said, "Dad, if you can build an ice vending machine the size of a Coke machine, small footprint that sits outside of the store and doesn't take up valuable in-store square footage, you can really disrupt the bagged ice industry, a lot like Redbox did for the brick and mortar movie industry." And so we got really excited and thought about it. Dad got to work on it. And 2016, life pulled me in a little bit different direction. And so I didn't keep up with the evolution of the machine or the process of it, or how far he grew it. And unfortunately, in January of 2024, Dad passed away and his company shut down. And that was the first time I saw the machine in a long time. And I looked at it and I realized Dad really did it. He created the machine. It was perfect. It was, he spent the last season of his life developing, perfecting, and patenting this machine. And it was just an aha moment when I saw it. And, I thought that the dream was over. About 4 months later, my wife and I had an opportunity to pick things up where they left off. And it was one of those moments where we decided to take a leap of faith, and we initially bought 16 machines back and started placing the machines. We placed the first one June 29th of 24, 2 more on July 3rd. And everything just went viral from that perspective. And so 24 was really for us to determine the durability of the machine. 25 was for us to determine the consumer demand for the machine. And so last year we made some new units. We had 35 machines in the marketplace. But the powerful thing for us that we've seen is the viability of the machine on Facebook. Our Facebook business page has grown organically to almost 10,000 followers in a year. We literally, in the last 2 weeks, made created an Instagram page. One of our first posts had almost 1,300 engagement just on one authentic post. So that's really the beautiful thing that we're seeing, is people love this product originally. So you see my Nugget Ice shirt that I have on when we were installing units in South Georgia last year. People saw our shirt and they said, "Oh, Nugget Ice, you mean the good ice?" And so we kind of stumbled across our name and the tagline just organically by listening to what people have talked to us and told us. And Don, it was kind of like the conversation that you mentioned that you had with a friend yesterday. People don't like, we're taking a commodity product that we've always bought. Nobody's ever thought about ice, and people are now calling the machine or calling our product Nugget Ice. Oh, you mean the good ice? And so it's turning. We're turning something that's always been a commodity into a traffic driver. And like, for example, we did a post on Facebook asking people if you would drop by 3, 5, or 10 locations. That post alone, I think, got almost 4,000 people engaging with it from all across the United States. And people said, I would drive past any station to get that ice.
I was trying to explain to them yesterday that the story you were referencing, my friends, and then when we actually were talking about, we're chewing on the ice, and they're like, "Oh, it's next level." I'm like, "I know, but you don't know until you know, and then once you have it, is a great thing." I mean, Monica's a big fan as well. I think Monica, didn't you tell a story recently where you drove out of their way because you knew they had good ice and went there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sonic's an easy example. They're known for that ice, and I don't really care about the drink itself, but I love ice, and I'm big on that ice, and I'll just one day just get up and go get a drink just for their ice. Like,
it's awesome. Right. And I think you said it earlier, right, Kevin? Most people think of it as a commodity. You guys, you clearly don't. You and your family don't. Absolutely. When did you realize ice could become a branded product? Like, when was that moment? I mean, I know you said your father sort of built the machine, and you guys picked back up sort of that torch and now are running with it. When did you realize sort of that branding opportunity?
You know, everything that I've experienced is all natural. It's all organic. It's all, you know, I was in a machine the fall of 2024, winterizing the machine, and a couple pulled up, an older lady and her husband, and they pulled up and they were so excited. They got out of the truck, and the location was at a convenience store. They just came there for ice, and the lady came up and she hugged my neck and she said, "Kevin, thank you so much for putting this machine here." She said, "I used to make my husband drive 45 minutes every week to get me 2 bags of ice." And, you know, I personally never would have believed that if I had not seen it, you know, with my own 2 eyes. Time after time after time again, the genuineness in which people express about the product. You know, I install the machines, I service the machines, and at this level and stage of the business, as we grow and scale, I think that's really important, because I do get these consumer interactions time and time and time again. Like, every time we go service a machine, put bags in, wipe it down, we always vend a couple bags, and we always give them, you know, to the consumers. And whether it's the first vend at a retailer's location, or we give a bag to a person who has never seen the machine, like the machine, after you tap your card and pay, it goes through the vend process. There's a clear door, so you actually get to watch the bag blow open and then fill up with ice. And so it doesn't just give you a product, it gives you an experience. And watching the people experience that for the first time is something that's unexplainable. and it's something that I'll never forget. And so it's in the process. And then, again, there are so many people for different reasons, whether it's health reasons, preference. One gentleman told me he likes to take cool little packets of Kool-Aid and dump it on the ice and eat the ice. And it's a really cheap, good treat instead of having to go out and buy ice cream and all of that. He said, Kevin, the Nugget Ice, it's almost like it absorbs the Kool-Aid. He said it's a very refreshing treat in the summer. So I don't know if there's one specific time, but just, every day I'm reminded how much people love the product. And it's almost like our machine has been in existence and it's been out there. And when people when people think about it and they talk about it, it's like we've been around forever and we're just a young company.
I'm going to have to try that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. What a wonderful way to honor your father, like to hear those stories as a way to honor your father every time you're in the field. Like that's what I started thinking about. Like when you were talking, I'm like, man, what an honor to your dad. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm so glad you picked it up again, 4 months, sometime later. Cause it's not just, like you said, it's not just a vending machine. It's actually a network model. So, with that being said, how do you think about scaling the business, and why is owning the network more important than actually, just selling a machine?
Every step of this process has been a learning experience, and the value in building an enterprise model is very important for a lot of different reasons. To control the branding, the marketing, to be able to control the experience, everything that matters, and it's really hard to say. Like, my view on this is that the enterprise model is much larger. It's not just about selling ice. It's about getting ingrained in communities and using this. Like, we don't view Nugget Ice, the good ice, as just selling ice. We view it more of a lifestyle type brand, like Yeti, for example, the cooler company, kind of like Red Bull. It just hit me the other day that at the center of every single beverage is ice. And I read something the other day. I think, I don't know if it's the energy sector of beverage business is like a $300 billion business. And being able to build a brand, or again, organically, we aren't doing anything that, other than bringing attention to a product, but being able to do possibly some branding collaborations with companies like Yeti. If you look what like Celsius has done, I think PepsiCo bought them for a large amount of money. You look at Liquid Death, I think they have like a $2 billion company valuation, and they're doing a lot of branding collaborations. I think we have a lot of roadway out there, for the products, for branding collaborations, for partnerships with gas stations, convenience stores, grocery stores. And the way we're thinking about it is very strategically and very selective, because, we want to focus on the forward-thinking, progressive partners who are really rethinking the ice category. They've never thought about it before. And so that is really the enterprise in which we view this. And what better way, when you think about the bagged ice category being commoditized, I remember the thought in my head back in 2012, when I was buying ice and consumer ice, typically you go buy a traditional bag of ice, and on average, a bagged ice touches 7 sets of hands before it ever reaches the consumer. And then when you buy the ice, you go reach in the ice merchandiser, and it's typically melted and refrozen and melted and refrozen. And so it's like a big block of frozen water that you have to beat on the concrete before you dump it in the cooler. And then when you dump it in the cooler, all of that dirt and grit and grime, it gets in the cooler. And it gets all over your drinks and all over your food. And, if you have a canned drink, then the grit gets in your teeth and it leaves a negative, unforgettable experience. So that's really where I see the opportunity. Some people have said, your ice is good. It's a premium product. I hold that it's your ice. I want it to consume. Well, that's great. But what we've also found is customers have told us that, like campers, people would go camping and they fill up multiple coolers. They said that our ice in a cooler typically lasts about 30 to 35% longer. It lasts a couple extra days in a cooler. So that's really good information, for us.
I can see it now. The Nugget Ice, the good ice, better for camping, better for the world, Kevin. And you think about just the environment, right? Which is your model eliminates trucking and distribution. You just talked about 7 pairs of hands touching it, right? It's a big advantage for you guys operationally. I mean, is that a main selling point when you're out there talking to people?
It really is. And I think when people hit on the topic about being environmentally, scope 3 and emissions and such, a lot of people feel a lot different about that depending on their overall view. But the reality is, trucks, the traditional bagged ice system is really built off logistics, and it's built off trucking. And our machine gets trucks off the road, which is less emissions, and it decreases the environmental impact. There's still a need, in my opinion, for traditional bagged ice companies. We fit a niche within the industry, and how large that will become is something that we'll just have to see. But I think there's really big opportunity out there for us as we continue to grow and execute, and really that's what this year is. What we're trying to do this year is execute and get ready for scale in 2027.
Awesome. So what do you think that does for margins and scalability, especially if you can tell there's a lot of good little storylines for you guys here, right? Like
what we're seeing with the locations that we've currently have our 35 machines at, about half of them are good locations, and quite frankly, the other half are at not so good locations. And we're in the process of relocating the bottom performing machines to better locations. But what we're seeing is our machines at better locations can sell anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 bags of ice a year, which, also having an on-site mini ice factory, if you will, not just the good ice. It eliminates stockouts. So July 3rd or July 4th, Memorial Day, Labor Day, most people that sell bagged ice, they'll sell out of ice at some point during that holiday. Our machine may sell out of ice, but it's constantly reproducing ice, and you can sell another bag in 15 minutes or less. But tomorrow morning, my machine is sitting on food. A traditional ice merchandiser is still empty for a couple days until they get another delivery of ice. And so, that's really another point is, the attractiveness. A lot of national retailers, and I pay attention to this because now I'm in the space. I went to a chain last Saturday, and I went in the store as one employee. There are two people in front of me. I noticed that the ice merchandiser was locked. The lady in front of me wanted a bag of ice. They rung up, the store employee went outside, unlocked the machine, got a bag of ice, brought it back in. It was a nice young man. He actually took it out to the lady's car. Then our process took about 15 minutes, and I wasn't in a hurry, and I wanted to watch that experience and then talk with the gentleman, who the employee. And so when I got up there, I said, "Is that company policy? Do you guys have to keep the merchandiser locked?" And he said, "Yes." And so every single time, and like 10 people had lined up behind me, you know, traditionally bagged ice in the retail space will represent anywhere from 0.1 to 1% of their total revenue. Yet it took 15 minutes for the guy to go outside. And so as we grow and scale, I think it's most important for us to educate people that they have a really big pain point that represents the lowest profit margin item in their total revenue, and that this is really an opportunity that we can drive. It's not in what we give the retail partner. That's not where the money is or value. It's in the experience, and it's in people passing other locations to get to there, and us bringing 10 to 20,000 people to their store without them having to spend a dollar. That's really the big win. Is a lot of companies, I heard, like Kroger sells milk at a loss. A lot of people have loyalty programs as a loss leader to drive traffic to a location. We do that for free. So I think the important part for us is to figure out how to effectively communicate. And, the reality is we're in high-level conversations with a couple brands, one out of the Carolinas. I think they have 300 locations and they're growing. We met another brand based out of Georgia here that's leaned in. They have about 300 franchised gas stations, and all it's going to take for us is just one yes. When I first started in the business, I'll be honest with you, I had the vision of having 100,000 units out there in the market. Is where my vision is. The reality is there's about 500,000 ice merchandisers in the United States, and so that would be about 1/5 of the business. But as we go global, I see this as a global lifestyle brand, and literally over the weekend, I had 6 different companies and people through LinkedIn reach out to me just from Canada. A gentleman called me right before the show. They manage over 1,000 locations. He said, "Kevin, I want to be your strategic partner in Canada." And I thanked him for his interest, and we just aren't ready to go there yet. We believe on building a solid foundation, which is what we're in the process of doing. And as we get there, and build that foundation through this year, we'll be ready to scale next year. 2 other guys reached out from Australia. That's going to be another great market to grow and expand into. But it's just really exciting to see all of this opportunity. And ultimately in business, you guys know, as entrepreneurs, if it was easy, everyone would do it. But we're just trying to enjoy the process and learn without making too many costly mistakes.
The key is just staying disciplined and not leaning in too hard and going too fast too soon. So
it's
much respect for the courage and discipline that takes, because that's not easy. Because as entrepreneurs, you're like, "Oh, we got a big opportunity, let's go," right? But you got to play it. You got to play it safe. So we know it's good for campers. We know it's good for convenience store owners, and it's good for the environment. I mean, it's the good ice, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, it's fascinating too, Kevin, because as you're explaining all this, it's like you don't realize that everything you just explained I've experienced, right? Because it's either, giving the example of the convenience store, it's either they lock it, which obviously that's an inconvenient process. Or most don't lock it, but there's a lot of theft, right? People just take the bags and they have that concern. And it's so all of these things, I guess you don't really think of. It's more than just obviously good ice. There's a lot of benefits to the machine and having that. So no, I love it. This is super exciting. And so, I know you mentioned the example of someone in Canada and the partners that'll help go global. So right now, while you're building that foundation locally or within the states, what to you, what is the ideal partner right now? And let's say 2026, what would that look like?
So, again, uh, me venturing into this business, I've had to, or I've chosen to get outside of how I normally uh, operate. And I think back to a lot of the things I learned from my father, right? And uh, one of them is to have conversations and to be open, and to see where things go. With that, um, you know, I think it's best to be open-minded, and not say, hey, this is the only kind of partner that we're open to. Um, and being open in business, and my vision is for us to get to 100,000 units. And we want to do this authentically, organically, and do it the right way with the right people. Um, Again, this isn't about the money. The money's coming. Um, this is about having positive change, about doing good, and using the company to grow. They can do good and have positive change in so many people's lives. Um, it, it's really hard to explain, but like the investment money, again, just organically, capital is out there. And my viewpoint is as we continue to execute, and as we continue to get the right, what I call strategic growth partners, whether it's retailers, where it's people that align from the perspective, the money is going to be the easier part. Um, so I think the better partners are the people who are really going to lean in and um, and help us grow this brand, and do it the right way. Um, we've talked to, again, it's just been a blessing to be on this journey, and the people who I've talked to, even you guys. I shouldn't be on a podcast with you guys, but somehow our paths crossed for a reason. The people that we're in high-level conversations with, some of the biggest companies in the United States and the world, we shouldn't be having the conversations with that we are. And, so we go into those conversations just open to see where things go. And, it's all going to work out.
No, I love that. No, and you definitely deserve it, Kevin. I mean,
Thank you.
you seem to be a great human being, and great human beings deserve a lot. So I'm not surprised, and I'm excited to watch this, grow and expand globally.
Thank you, Evan.
I guess the last question I have, and you kind of answered it already. What system or decision has had the biggest impact on your ability to scale or start this process with?
We're put in what we do in life to help serve people, right? And if you serve people, and again, people probably are going to look at ICE and say, oh my gosh, he thinks he's serving people. I serve at ICE, and we really are. And so when I figured that part out and I changed my mindset internally, going in and having conversations with, partners about location, about placing machines. When I changed the way I looked at things, everything I looked at changed. And so that was probably internally the most important part. And then, understanding that we weren't selling a product. The product sells itself. Those who get it, and those who don't. But the ones who get it, they lean in, and they're able to grow with us and scale with us, and that's kind of where our loyalty is going to be. And as we grow and scale, we're going to be loyal to those who are loyal to us.
Monica and I want to break the news to you. We started an ice company last week. It's called The Better Ice. We're now competitors, Kevin. Thank you for all the trade secrets. It's been a blessing for us, and we're very grateful that you joined us, man. You've been one of our best guests yet. Super authentic, super genuine. We know it's going to be successful. Just watch out. We're on your heels. We're on your heels, Kevin. We're letting you know.